we've established the technique and motion to use to play just a single accent. Smooth, fluid stroke using that accelerating motion that we did in the float stroke. If I'm going to play half notes, for instance, these notes are pretty far apart. It only takes so long to lift a stick and bring it back down again. And I can use this float stroke motion for these accents. It would look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's so much space between the notes. I just rest until it's time to move again. But I want you to think about the natural evolution of what I'm going to do with the stick if the notes get closer and closer and closer together. There comes a point where stopping and resting at the bottom is no longer practical, and it's not the best thing to do. I've got to move my stick continuously. Moving my stick continuously is a stroke that I just simply call multiple stroke. Same stick height, same stick path. Everything is the same that we've done so far, but we're just going to move the stick continuously. It will look like this. Now, at this point in our development, we're still holding onto the stick and we're just using the wrist, because developing the wrist and getting really good hand motion that's very relaxed and smooth is very important. But the stick never stops. Very quickly here, we'll get to the point where we'll start to let go of the stick and we'll use a rebound. We'll let the stick fly. That's all an important part of drumming, and we'll get to that. But the wrist comes first. Being in control of the stick comes first. Good control over stick path and stick height come first. So stick with me on this and understand, no pun intended. Focus on the steps that we're going through, and it'll all come together and make perfect sense when we start to put the whole package together. But this multiple stroke motion is very important. Sometimes drummers will approach this and call it full stroke, where they start in the up position, come down, and bring the stick back up. The stick doesn't stop down here. It keeps moving all the time. This is kind of the same thing, but I'm approaching it from a little bit different direction. Instead of an accent stroke that stops at the bottom, we're going to play multiple stroke and move continuously. It's like multiple accents that never stop. Looks like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Smooth, fluid, relaxed motion. As soon as the stick hits the drum, you let it come right back up. Use your wrist and your hand to lift it up. Let's try it together. We'll just play 8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Ready? Go. 1 and 2. Okay, stop there for a minute. Now, I want you to notice I'm not letting go of the stick yet. Hand is very relaxed. I'm using the wrist, lifting the stick with my hand. Very, very fluid. Try that again with me. 1, 2, 3, go. Ready, and stop. Let's try it on the left hand. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's stop there. Now, if you've done all the preliminary strokes properly, you have good control over grip, good hand position, good control over stick path. You know how to lift your stick to one stick height. If you've practiced the accent stroke, you've practiced moving the stick up and down, all in one fluid motion. Now you just repeat that motion over and over and over again. Now, yes, as you move the stick continuously, the motion upward and the motion downward kind of evens itself out. And the float stroke concept is not really as evident here because we're lifting up to the same height over and over and over again. It's just a continuous flowing up and down motion. So the difference between those two, you'll see more and more as we get into more advanced drumming. But just understand the distinction of this continual, smooth, fluid motion. You use this motion all the time in all kinds of different areas of drumming. Now, the accent stroke using the float motion and this multiple stroke, you can kind of think of those as two words in the language of drumming. Two simple motions that we utilize to actually play. The whole first set of exercises that we're going to go through next, the only motions that are used are those two motions. So if you've gone through everything up to this point and you can do the motions properly, good control over your hands, good accent stroke motion using that float style, and good multiple stroke motion, straight up and down, continual motion, you have all the tools you need to play the whole first set of exercises for single strokes, one height. So let's get into those.